This is Justin from Bulldog Stump and Tractor Service. From time to time, I get the same question asked over and over. Now, why did you get a tractor and not a skid steer? Many factors went into my purchasing a tractor over a Bobcat, a Kubota, a Cat, a New Holland. I agree. Work versus work, a skid loader can outwork a compact tractor. From lifting capacity or just raw power, I don't think there's going to be much of a video to make on the subject. Which leads me into this video. What if we put a commercial duty or a skid steer durable brush cutter on an overgrown lawn tractor? Then put this jolly green giant pipsqueak up against, a mid-sized track loader. And for good measure, I threw in an ever-increasing popularity mini skid steer. And see where the chips fall. For this comparison, let's use my 2 Series compact John Deere 2038R. This little guy packs 38 engine horsepower and just over a whopping 30 PTO horsepower. The skid steer used for this comparison isn't some small potato skid steer in some way trying to bend the outcome. Rather, we're going to use a Bobcat T190 with 65 horse, heat, AC, and a rubber track. The mini loader was a demo unit and something I was considering purchasing to better, kind of complement my growing business. The unit used for this topic will be the older Bobcat MT-85. I did have lined up the new MT-100, but the day before I was going to pick up the unit, the motor died with 100 hours on it. Actually, all 3 of their MT-100 units have their motor out, and more on that later in this video. Before that, the actual job even started, we had to plan a route with the T190 because outside of our project site was the customer's very well landscaped yard. We picked our path, drove down the driveway, then a straight shot into the Buckthorn forest. The last thing we wanted to do was turn the skid loader on the lawn for risk of scalping or in some way rutting up the lawn. All was fine except the driveway was roughly about 4 inches higher than the turf next to it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Going Dukes of Hazzard off a 4-inch driveway on a skid steer jars the spine. There was nothing much for suspension other than your vertebrae cartilage and dropping steel. I'm sure, and I know there are suspension seats or even air seats in other skid steers. Getting an air suspension seat would be my first deal breaker, but let's get on with the show. When I dropped off the mini loader the night before, I followed basically the same path, except I did want to try a little experiment. I drove the mini at an angle off the driveway because I really did want to try a large radius turn on turf grass, and trying to dismount the pavement at the angle was my first mistake. The mini dropped forward into the side faster than a hiccup. Even just that 4-inch drop point tossed my body like a rag doll. I thought I was going to tip, so I pushed the joystick forward as hard and fast as I could, trying to keep the tracks facing the right way up. I'm sure with more operator time, that may not seem as scary as it felt that night. What won't ever change is a feeling like Mike Tyson landing a rabbit punch straight to the kidneys. Next was my tractor. I've operated enough that a 4-inch drop-off really is no big deal, so honestly I didn't think much about it. Plus the customer had an in-ground irrigation system and the lawn was green and lush. Even with my liquid-filled tires, these R3 turf tires can spin tight circles and there's really zero lawn damage. So all of that was just mobilizing the equipment. Now as far as the actual production goes, let's lead off with the full-size Bobcat T190. This unit was using a Blue Diamond extreme duty open front brush cutter 60-inch standard flow. I wanted to try an apples to apples comparison, and I did try to procure a quick attach skid steer brush cutter, but when I needed it, that attachment just wasn't available. The Blue Diamond uses a direct drive fluid motor for the propulsion of the blades, where the quick attach also incorporates a gearbox to increase blade speed. The Blue Diamond unit takes a similar but noticeable difference on how the business end works. This unit uses a triangle plate, a stump jumper if you will. With the additional blade, the three blades are noticeably smaller than the quick attach. Wish I could have measured them, but they were in the somewhat ballpark a 6-inch length. It could have been up to 10 inches, but by eyeball, I don't think so. Being this was a standard flow model from Blue Diamond, it seemed the Bobcat could overpower the brush cutter and stall the mower. It had no problems tackling anything we threw at it. Most of what we were cutting was live 6-inch buckthorn trees or smaller. The compact design of the skid steer made it very nimble when working in tight quarters. But the limited visibility took the nimbleness and threw it out the window as this machine would back over the trees that we were trying to save. However, the ability to have AC was a creature comfort all of us were jealous of. Let's jump to the John Deere Tractor 2038R, equipped with a quick attach brush Thrasher 66-inch. For argument's sake, we'll use a baseline PTO RPM of 540, which is about the industry standard. Then Quick Attach does use a step-up gearbox and delivers a blade RPM of just over 800 RPMs. Quick Attach uses what they reference to as a stump jumper. This is a blade carrier plate that looks like a, saucer disc. The blades I measured are 21 inches from the tip to the center of the blade bolt, which is a significant difference between the two manufacturers. Also, it seems that each brush cutter manufacturer offers different metal makeup of their blades. Quick Attach uses a philosophy of maybe inherently softer metal that will bend or in extreme cases twist before it breaks. I guess you could say this might lead to dulling of the blades sooner, but it inherently adds a level of safety for the operator or civilians standing too close to the machine. The harder the blades, the more carbon has to be used in the metal manufacturing process, the more brittle and prone to shatter come with that. I'm really not sure which is the best philosophy, but with my open station tractor, I kinda will take every safety option I can get. Now, if I had a level 2 cab, machine with a bulletproof door, I guess I would side with the harder metal and sharper blades. Anyways, with my anemic 31 PTO horsepower, this attachment had the opposite effect of the Bobcat. Where the Bobcat seemed like it had the potential to overpower the brush cutter, in the case of the tractor, the attachment felt like it had the desire for a lot more horsepower than I could give it. I probably stalled my tractor a half dozen times that day. It just felt like I didn't have enough gusto for what I was trying to do. They do offer a 60-inch model, which, might have been better suited for my tractor. But with the additional wheel spacers, I wanted to make sure a brush cutter would be a little bit wider than the track of my wheels, which are right at about 60 inches. So I picked the 66-inch model. Another negative is the physical length of the tractor with the bucket attached. Just trying to turn was an ordeal. Back and forth and back and forth, it was like Austin Powers. But at least I had good visibility, right? Also, having a front end loader with me as I navigated around was very beneficial. Moving cinder blocks, CMU's concrete blocks, random miscellaneous debris on an as-found basis just was terrific. Something the Bobcat couldn't accommodate. As far as comparing the cut quality or speed between the machines go, they both cut the same woodland. I did find myself going over and doing a second pass where the Bobcat mowed. I believe the tractor did a better job at mulching, but I really mostly attribute that to the blade health between the two machines. The Blue Diamond unit on the Bobcat was in dire need of a blade replacement. Sheesh. As far as production, Bobcat delivered and won that category as everyone expected. While I was left trying to restart my tractor from biting off more than it could chew, the Bobcat was busy mowing over Buckthorn. Yes, there were larger and more efficient skid loaders than an old, T190. Same as there are tractors a lot larger and definitely more powerful than any skid loader on the market. They also make a drum mulcher for a cat bulldozer. So, yes, at that point, there's always and always will be someone bigger, better, faster, stronger. The mini track loader, the MT-85, was a disappointment at best. It was most maneuverable, and with the open station, it had great visibility. Unfortunately, that's about the only good that I found during our demo of the unit. It was extremely tippy, underpowered, and provides the most operator fatigue. Any woody substance 2 inches or less, sure, it would devour it, but it also did it with the smallest cutting swath of any of the machines. Anything we found 3 inches or larger, the machine seemed like it wouldn't cut through it, rather just wanted to try to push it over. I was so excited to demo the new MT-100 and figure it might be a great supplement to the tractor. I was educated on the front mount radiator and coolant leakage. I was told by the demo company that the radiator is in front and prone to clogging from brush hogging. Also, there are plates and covers that need to be removed to clean the radiator. But the biggest problem was the lack of red lights and sirens if the engine started to overheat, and that is how they were down 3 machines waiting on replacement engines. I was thinking this machine with maybe like a breaker, a trencher, and a stump grinder would make an awesome complement to the business. However, I'm now rethinking that, and I'm glad I did a demo prior to purchasing. Fast forward to yesterday, and I was in a pickle where a mini track loader could have saved my day. I had another buckthorn brush hogging job. This time it was much smaller and only the back portion of a city lot. Everything was fine except the client stacked a pile of wood and I was not able to get my tractor around it. I had the wife make a trip to the equipment store and she picked me up one of those steel weed whips with a circular saw blade meant for brush cutting. That little handheld weed whip with the handlebars performed as good as a mini track loader with a brush attachment. That was the final nail in the coffin for me thinking about purchasing a mini track loader. The jobs and clients that I target just don't justify the purchasing of one of those. But maybe a mini excavator would open a whole new set of doors. So what did I learn, or what did we learn from all this? Can all 3 machines complete the same project? Well, yeah, up to 2 inches, all of them function the same. As far as the Bobcat T190 and the John Deere, they both cut the equal brush. The Bobcat might have cut faster, very true, but the tractor seemed to mulch better. The Bobcat was much more maneuverable, being shorter wheelbase, but for the tractor, it had much more visibility. The tractor also had a front end loader for those random items that needed to be moved. The tracks on the T190 could drive over the nice lawn with minimal indentation, but turning was a chore not to scalp. Where the tractor could duck in and out of the lawn with near zero impact, or at least about the impact of an overgrown lawn mower. If we have to approach the topic of mulcher versus brush cutters, it boiled down to price and cost of equipment. The market average for a drum mulcher and the equipment to run those is significantly higher than the cost of the equipment to run your basic brush hogging equipment. The client couldn't justify the added price, and the lower cost of brush cutting won the bid. Sometimes the best of the best comes with a higher cost to a customer. Not every client is going to be able to afford the best equipment with the best machines. In the end, it's not about which one wins or which one's a loser or even what color of the equipment you operate. It's about getting dirty with your friends and helping clients solve problems they elsewise could not have done. So what are your opinions? Which one would you choose to purchase, and why do you think your opinion outweighs the opinions of others?